Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Dustin. Today's video is in a slightly different format from my usual style, which I kind of want to get into more. This video is basically scripted instead of being off the top of my head like most of my other videos. There's a lot of information in this video, so I decided to actually script it versus just trying to remember everything and wing it. That being said, I'm probably going to interject here and there with off the top of my head, but for the most part, this whole video is going to be scripted. Anyway, today's video is going to focus on the current Folger 3D printer lineup. This will be a quick overview of each printer and where it stands compared to the others. Most of this information is going to be factual details about the printer, but I'm also going to talk about my opinion on the printer compared to the other printers, basically. Also, in the interest of full disclosure, most of you already know this, but I do contracted work for Folger Tech. Like I said, most of you know that already, but for those of you who don't, I do their tech support stuff. That being said, my YouTube channel is completely separate from them. I do not get paid for videos, I am not told what to say, I don't make any money on sold printers. I do not and will not do sponsored discount codes with them, meaning I don't make any cut of any sale based on promotional codes, which I don't have anyway. I was given my console, my cloner, and the FT5 for free, but that doesn't change my stance on how good or bad they are. All opinions are my own honest opinions, and as you will see, I'm not afraid to point out the flaws within these printers. To begin, currently there are 5 3D printer kits from Folger Tech, or maybe 4 depending on how you look at it. You have the 2 Prusa kits, the console, the cloner, and the FT5. All have their advantages and disadvantages. Ranging from $269 to $499, you should be able to find a kit that is right for you within your budget. Remember, these are kits. Assembly is required. If you are looking for a pre-built machine or a machine that's very easy to set up in the sense of it only takes a few minutes, you're going to have to go elsewhere. Also know that any details and pricing that I say about these printers are the current versions of the printer, as in what they are right now at the time of making this video. Pricing and possible changes depending on what it is may be slightly different if you're looking at this later on in time, but as of right now, these are the details for these printers. First up, we have the Folger Tech Prusa i3 Acrylic. This was the first kit from Folger Tech and was my first 3D printer. For $280, you get the Prusa i3 design with an 8x8 by 7 inch build area, heated bed, acrylic frame, and all the rest of the parts you need to assemble the printer. The biggest issue I have with this printer is the acrylic frame. While it looks cool, it's not very sturdy. It can easily crack during assembly, which happened to me, and the whole frame can start to wobble if you're printing at higher speeds. I've also seen this on other Prusa i3 printers and kits that use the acrylic frame, so it's not really the fault of Folger Tech, it's just the design of the printer itself. Remember, this is an open source design. Although it was a great first printer for me for over a year, I have since all but abandoned the use of it. It's not because it's a bad printer, but because my other printers that I now have more advantages over it. Plus, I ran out of desk space, so it had to go into my under-desk storage area. Next up, we have the, in my opinion, much superior Prusa 2020. Although this is the only printer from Folger Tech I don't own, I've used it many times through other people. This printer is basically the same as the i3 Acrylic, but uses a 2020 aluminum extrusion frame. This basically eliminates the issues that I had with the acrylic frame version without creating any new ones. Other than the frame, the Prusa 2020 is basically identical to the i3 Acrylic, with the exception of a 6-inch build height instead of 7 inches like on the Acrylic. This can be raised, however, with a 3D printable mod back up to about 7 inches. The 2020 frame also allows for a ton of expandability and modability. I've seen people mod the printer with beds up to 200 by 300 millimeter and even dual extruders. At a price of $270, this printer is $10 cheaper than the acrylic version, and in my opinion, a better printer overall. The next kit is the console, the black sheep of the group. This is the only Delta style printer from Folger Tech, which in itself can be a blessing or a curse. At $326, this printer sports a 210mm diameter aluminum heated bed, which in my testing really only gets you around 180 to 200mm of usable diameter due to the mounting screws on the bed and the limitations of the arm length. Delta style printers are truly weird to me. Anyway, you can print up to 310mm tall as long as the print is basically a point at the end, like a rocket ship. You can get about 250mm of unrestricted build height, but any taller than that, and the model needs to be thinner and in the middle of the bed to maximize height. This is an issue that pretty much every console or Delta style printer runs into. The big advantage to this printer is the speed. The speeds don't exactly match with Cartesian printers, but in my testing, I could print a model at 80 millimeters per second in the same amount of time a Cartesian printer like the FT5 could print at 130 millimeters per second. The Cossel excels at decorative models, sculptures, vases, and things of that nature. Due to the much more complex movements, Delta printers can be more dimensionally inaccurate than Cartesian-based printers. So if making precision parts that need to fit together is what you're intending to do, you may have trouble doing so with the Cossel without lots of advanced calibration. The auto leveling for this printer is also a pain in the ass to get functional, and even then it usually just makes prints worse. I will always recommend not using the auto leveling and instead just use springs under the bed and manually level the bed and end stops. I messed with the auto leveling for 2 months with no real luck, but after adding springs and removing the sensor, a 5-minute bed level had the printer printing true and flat. This printer overall can produce some amazing quality prints, but because of its complexities, especially in calibration, I wouldn't recommend it as a first printer. If you're experienced with these kits of 3D printing and like a bit of a challenge, I would 100% recommend it. The Folger Tech Cloner. It's kind of weird to me. That being said, it's a solid printer. You get 9x6 by 4.7 inch build volume, which is fairly small. That's 254 cubic inches. The Prusa 2020, on the other hand, has 384 cubic inches of build volume and is $80 cheaper. That's right, the cloner is $350. The biggest thing that it has going for it is that it has the dual extruder option available, but honestly, if you're new to 3D printing, don't get the dual extruders. It's a bit of work to get working correctly, and for most people, it's more work than it's worth. The printer itself is basically a clone of the original MakerBot replicator. The laser cut side panels are really cool, and the electronics compartment underneath makes wire management really easy, and basically any replicator mod will work on it. But that's pretty much all you get. Due to its design, you really don't have any room to expand. Aside from adding dual extrusion and the bounding mod I did, which you can actually see up in the link above or in the description, there aren't really any mods out there aside from cooling fans and other simple things like that. You can't change the bed, you can't add a larger bed, and you can't raise the build height at all. You could change out the hot end, but you could only change the hot end. Adding a hot end with a heatsink like the E3D all-metal hot end would lower the build height so much that you really couldn't print anything useful. That's why this printer is weird to me. It's got a smaller bed, no upgrades, barely any mods, a more complex movement system, which means more possible failure points. It's heavy as hell, and to top it all off, it's $80 more expensive than the Prusa 2020, which has none of these issues. Don't get me wrong, I can get some great prints out of mine. It's a solid printer for what it is, but that's all that it is. There's nothing that makes me want to use it over the Cossel or the FT5. And if the dual extrusion is what sold you, there's a number of really good Prusa dual extrusion mods out there. Finally, the big guy, the newest kit, Printemic Printface, the Folger Tech FT5. The newest kit in the lineup, it features a huge 12x12 by 15.75 inch build volume. That's 2,268 cubic inches of build volume. 2,268. Holy shit. It has a linear rail system for the X and Y axis, full aluminum 2020 frame, dual Z-axis lead screws, an MKS Gen 1.4 board, and a huge heated bed. Side note on the heated bed. It's big, so it may have trouble getting up to temperatures used for ABS. That being said, you can raise the power supply's voltage to 14 volts, insulate the bed with cork, and enclose the printer to help maintain the heat. A lot of people have already done these mods with success. The newest aluminum bed gets a lot harder than the original PCB beds, so those with the newer kit shouldn't have too much of an issue. The bed's performance depends a lot on the way you have it set up, if you have glass or anything else on top, and also the ambient temperature in the room. So if you have an enclosure over it, or if you have it in a separate room without air conditioner preferably, it should perform a lot better than if you were in a cooled room or had an air conditioner running right next to it. The linear rail system is extremely sturdy. I have had my FT5 up to 200 millimeters per second print speed, although I don't really recommend printing that fast. It's especially true with small prints where the layers won't have enough time to cool, which is going to cause all sorts of warping. The biggest shocker of this massive printer is its price. As of right now, it's $499. Under $500 for a printer of this size is basically unheard of as a kit or as a pre-built. There is also a CNC attachment either in the works or officially out depending on when you see this video. I absolutely love my FT5. It's easily the best printer that I own, and if you're looking for a large-scale 3D printer, this is definitely the kit for you. I do have an overview video that you can watch if you want more information on the FT5. Link will be in the description or in a card up at the top of this video. So those are the 5 kits currently in the Folger Tech lineup. Which one's best for you? Well, that's up to you. My recommendations are simple. If you're looking for a first 3D printer or you're on a budget, get the Prusa 2020. If you're looking for a large-scale 3D printer, get the FT5. If you're looking for a fast printer or an additional printer that's a bit of a challenge, but it does pay off in the end, get the console. Regardless, if you want to enter the world of open source 3D printing kits, one of these should be the right kit for you. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say about these printers. As you guys know, I enjoy all of them. I think they're all really good, but for the most part, that's pretty much everything I need to say. Of course, as I said, anything that's not technical information is my opinion. Some people might say differently, but that's up to you to do your research on each of these kits. Of course, you guys know I enjoy all of the printers. I think that they're all good, regardless of the issues that they have. So which one is right for you is up to you. Otherwise, if you have any other questions that I didn't cover, feel free to put this in the comments and I will get to you as quickly as I can. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped you decide on if you want one of these kits or not, and which one you want if you're going to buy one. Like I said, leave a comment if that helps. Like this video if you liked it, because that does help me out. It does help out, help get this video out there. So, otherwise, I got nothing else to say. Thank you for subscribing if you have. Thank you for enjoying this video if you did. And until the next video, I will see y'all later.